Oh, shit. You know, what, do you not say anything when it works? You know what I'm saying? Because you normally would only complain when it breaks. And it's like, wait, am I not supposed to say anything when it actually functions? I hope this means it's going to be a good day. Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. As you'll notice, the camera works normal. And it doesn't feel like you're looking at me through a pigeonhole. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast. A show or whatever. We discuss news and politics. We're live on YouTube and Twitch. No ads, no filler. At least I don't think there's filler. I think it's important you actually get the show up and running. Make sure you can see yourself, hear yourself. And then say, alright, check it. Every morning when we start the show, we listen to Edwin Starr's War. As a reminder that we're not at war, because the President of the United States does not get to decide that. Actually, so everyone that is dying in vain. Article 1, Section 8. Much like everything else this man has tried to do in office will be rebuked. And understand that it's only because of a memo that we don't prosecute sitting presidents. Okay? It's really hard not to talk on the beat. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Hashtag JWR, hashtag FDT, that's right. That's right. We're gonna try for 45 minutes not to say his fucking name. And let's see what's going on. You know, I think it's pretty fair that we're going to talk about weather. So, severe weather. Quite a bit of it lately. Let this be the reminder. Alright, only thing I'd really ever ask of the audience here, if you're on Blue Sky, Alright. Get me off the front page of Reddit, that's for sure. Nothing constructive going on there. Alright, so the way we do it here is we're going to talk about world news first. Okay? Push some buttons. Okay? How many religions tell you to kill your enemies? I don't know. How many religions I having been confirmed in the church, religious extremism is the cause of religious violence, not text. So one of the problems that I've had, one of my problems that I've had is that there's a lot of the Bible that is barbaric, from a barbaric time. I kind of dug what Jesus was doing, and clearly not cool, man. So them red letters, people. Anyway, so there's a nationwide blackout. The U.S. has told its citizens to leave Iran immediately. I think it's fair to say lots of religious extremism is a result of an individual's interpretation and not what the actual fucking text says. And one of the things that I gotta be real about over the course of my life is just people their reading comprehension is piss poor. Not you or me, but damn. China is telling its top refiners to halt diesel and gas exports. Excuse me, per Bloomberg. Hey, you know what's insane? We don't have that much oil, actually. Yeah. You know what's crazy about fucking with Iran? So Iran has these kamikaze drones. They're calling them one-way drones, by the way. Okay? And they're saying like the U.S. doesn't have the capability stateside to intercept those drones. So if Iran's got intercontinental ballistic kamikaze drones, which are effectively just fucking missiles, you ever read A Place on Earth and you're like, those are just letters thrown together? Stop it. Azerbaijan. Missiles and drones flying from the direction of Iran fell on the territory of the airport in the Azerbaijani enclave of Nakhchivan. Come on, man. International Airport. You ever just see some words and you're like, oh, dick. Reuters is reporting Ukraine's F-16s were starved of U.S.-made missiles for weeks. Don, why aren't there missiles made in the U.S. for Ukraine. No, it's all an act of thousands of Kurdish fighters have launched a ground offensive into Iran against the regime. Okay, so Trump, damn it, got his war, but not like you think. Now the Kurds are invading Iran. An official from the Coalition of Political Forces of Iranian Kurdistan, CPFIK, says Kurdish armed groups based in Iraq have already begun a military offensive against Iranian regime forces since midnight, March 2nd. PJAK, Kurdistan Free Life Party. According to CNN, CIA is exploring plans to arm Kurdish forces with the aim of fomenting a popular uprising inside Iran. India is rejecting claims of the U.S. Navy using its ports for Iran strikes and says that's baseless. Wow. Yeah, they hurt my Marine. Never forgive them. It's the reason we say fuck the police. Spain, and again, remember, Mark Rutte was called the Trump Whisperer. But Spain rejects Mark Rutte's claim of a massive backing for the Iran war by NATO allies. I want to make sure I echo that to Mark Rutte. Totally an ass kisser. Never surprised. United Media is reporting that Russia automatically bans men from leaving the country after missing military enlistment summons. Russian conscripts in Russia have begun receiving automatic bans on leaving the country after failing to appear at enlistment offices. Wonder if that means like your bank account don't work and shit. The U.S. State Department is rejecting Iran's claim of 100 Americans killed in Dubai. So, already arguing over dead bodies. This is not what we want. On Tuesday night, the Air Force Global Strike Command launched the unarmed Minuteman III ICBM from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, equipped with 2 test re-entry vehicles, the U.S. Space Force said in a statement. So, as we careen toward World War III, the U.S. is testing a nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missile. And here we are following this story about Australia and Canada. Venezuela's state-owned mining company on Monday inked a multi-million-dollar deal to sell as many as 1,000 kilograms of gold destined for U.S. markets. 1,000 kilos. How much gold is that? Anywhere from $165,000 to $167,000. Million, sorry. 165 to 167 million. So how much is the deal for? Kyiv is in talks for Ukrainian troops to operate in the Middle East on the ground. No one had made any direct request, but they said they'd make themselves available to shoot down drones in the Gulf. In things that make you kind of smile, Amazon's Bahrain data center targeted by Iran for support of U.S. military, their state media says. I mean, if we're going to burn it all down, let's start at the top. Amazon? Reuters is reporting Vladimir Putin is suggesting that he could halt gas supplies to Europe amid the Iran energy spike. So, see how they work? It's in your face. You know why Iran is happening? Saudi Arabia. The Saudi prince was talking to Donald Trump many times. Was trying to get him to attack Iran. Many times. Billions of dollars from Saudis. Here's an article about Iranian intelligence proposing talks with CIA to end this war. Here's what was interesting. About 13 hours ago, there's a post that says no Kurdish forces have entered Iran. He's such an idiot. God, mediocre white men fucking ruining this. NATO allies will keep supporting Ukraine despite the situation in Iran, Mark Root says. What the fuck? Despite? Is that what we need to be doing here? Well, even though there's a situation in Iran, I guess we'll still continue to support Ukraine. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Huh. You know how we were talking about Cyprus? Like how militaries are like deciding whether or not to, launch boats in support of Cyprus? They're saying that the drone that targeted the UK's Royal Air Force Base in Cyprus didn't come from Iran. Understand that drones up to a certain size are just readily available. Yeah. There's a lot of things that didn't happen before the U.S. attacked Iran that are supposed to happen. That I gotta think there are consequences for this. I wanna believe he'll be held accountable, but I just think he'll die instead. He'll die holding the bag. Give all the money to his kids. Try to name them as his successor. AP News is reporting 26 Doctors Without Borders workers remain unaccounted for in South Sudan a month after the attacks. You know who ended up being like one of the biggest creeps of all? Mark Zuckerberg. Who made these, the Meta glasses. It's so bad. But how? Don't you think it would be like a big news story internationally? Holy shit. Oilprice.com says LNG shipping rates soar 650%. It was $40,000 last week. It's $300,000 this week. You think we can keep going? Buenos Aires Times reporting, Brazil has ratified the EU-Mercosur trade deal. 4 founding members of the South American trade bloc already been ratified by Argentina and Uruguay. Paraguay's parliament still needs to ratify it. Iran is warning the United States that it will bitterly regret sinking that Iranian warship. The U.S. has perpetrated an atrocity at sea, 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. Oof. The Russian frigate Admiral Essen is now unable to launch missiles after it was hit by a Ukrainian drone. Sea warfare, huh? It's crazy. I was in the Marine Corps. I was attached to the 26th MEU, which is on a boat. So if this isn't bringing back some fucking memories. Uh-oh. The BBC is reporting Ethiopia is experimenting with smart police stations that have no officers. We're all gonna die. They're gonna turn police into robots. Remember, AI uses nukes 95% of the time as the solution in war games when they let AI loose. Thanks to the Iran war, Russia is buying oil from... India is buying oil from Russia. Excuse me. Russia's FSB is infiltrating Moldovan politics through dual citizen proxies and organized crime. Moldovan citizens Alexander Kyprin and Ludmila Korsun, both holding Russian passports, have been identified as key assets in a Kremlin-backed influence operation. An investigation by Deshide MD reveals the duo operated under the direct coordination of Vladimir Shukinin, an officer of the Russian FSB, Federal Security Service. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful week. The mismanagement of Antarctic krill is putting whales at risk. Heavy shelling and explosions spark fear along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. The poor people are killing each other again. As I've said before, nothing will change until our very way of life is disrupted. And for many people, that's a football game, baseball game. People can still like go to work and come home and go to the grocery store and come home and like, yeah, it's a little more expensive. That's how it feels for most people. It sucks. Most people they're not seeing this. Oh, hey, there's a dozen or so people in here. I got a coaching offer yesterday. And I want to do it. I even think I could get my schedule changed at work so that I could be there. But if I'm going to do that, it might impact the time frame of the show. So we kind of jumped the shark, but the airstrikes were a precursor to the mobilization of the Kurds, probably done hastily. Remember, as I've said before, when you install a government, it's never legitimate. It doesn't matter what they accomplish, it's illegitimate. And these puppet regimes is what's plagued these countries forever. And again, this isn't my soliloquy on democracy. I do actually believe, though, that like you should vote on it and you should decide together and shit like that is like a reasonable discourse as opposed to like authoritarian rule. There's a reason that I've sat here every day and said, he's not really doing shit. And I understand that whether he does shit or not, shit happens. Just put it plainly. Well, what's funny about getting a coaching job is that my wife had said, "You know what would make your show great?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "If you could get off earlier in the day and we do it together. And you actually have a co-host, somebody that you can kind of riff with while you do the show." And I was like, "Oh my God, Taylor, that would be great." Um, but I fucking work until 9 o'clock every night, right? So, well, we gotta figure something out. Because the program needs me. But then again, smallest high school football program in Indiana with a football team. Mm-hmm. But it's called it's a public charter school called Tindley in Indianapolis. It's about 20 minutes from my house. It's a challenge. Smallest public school with a football team. And they're fundraising. They need to fundraise $85,000 for facilities. And the coach that hired me is going to take over as head coach after this upcoming season. Forbes is reporting after almost 3 years. Sudan remains the site of the world's most prolonged and severe humanitarian crisis. Their athletic director is a former NFL player. The head coach has tons of experience. I believe he was a D1 tight end for... I can't remember if he went to Kentucky. I don't know. It doesn't mean my head's not in it. I still think what we're doing is important. And I say we because if I'm just sitting here doing this and I'm not doing it live, you know, there's no record of your reaction to what was going on in the world after what happened. European countries are deploying military assets to Cyprus anyway. So France, Spain, and the Netherlands are sending naval assets. Got to think something's going to go on here. How are all these navies in the same and not hitting each other? New York Times reporting the torpedoing of a ship by the U.S. is an atrocity. One thing that you won't catch me doing is cheerleading. Okay? So, I want to believe everything that the U.S. does is justifiable, given the circumstances. But not when you take into account leadership. We, as a country right now, we exemplify our leadership. I don't know that you can... I don't think you can cover all these bases. I think that you stretch yourself too thin and you put us in a position where we don't have enough to protect ourselves at home. The Guardian reporting. The U.S. is reportedly ready to provide support to Kurdish fighters. Yo, look at the picture of a dude on a bike sitting next to an inert bomb, an inert missile. It fell, and you can just see it like a lawn dart the size of a furnace. Why not? Reporting. Israel estimates since the start of the war with Iran on Saturday, like they're just straight up calling it a war, 3,000 Iranian soldiers and Iranian regime operatives have been killed. See, my thing is, if we're saying a bunch of Americans died, it's like where? Where were the Americans? Because we don't have boots on the ground. So if we don't have boots on the ground, where are all the U.S. troops dying? The EU is reporting EU is urging the U.S. to the deal it signed, like live up to the deal they signed. Ecuador declares that Cuba's ambassador persona non grata and orders a mission to leave the country. Yo, there's a man burning papers on the roof of a Cuban embassy in Cuba. Or in Ecuador. What the fuck is happening that they're burning paperwork on the roof? What is happening that they're burning paperwork? Hey, I hope I'm right. Reuters is reporting. A Pakistani man says that Iran forced him into a plot to kill he who shall not be named for 7 more minutes. Yep. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. Try not to wear all this shit. The Toronto Star is reporting. Registration has opened for their first election in a decade. Bloomberg is reporting Carney won't rule out military action if the Mideast conflict widens. Oh boy. Voldemort. Australia is going to join the G7 Critical Minerals Alliance. Now, Reuters is reporting a tanker at anchor off Kuwait seemed to explode. 30 nautical miles southeast of Kuwait's Mubarak Al Kabir port. There's oil in the water. Oil in the water coming from a cargo tank could have some environmental impact. The vessel is taken on water. There are no fires reported and the crew is safe. Okay, so we are coming across some stories. And again, I'm not trying to say anybody's wrong. Okay. Iran and Cuba blacked out now. So here's a blackout in Cuba. Here's an article from the Toronto Star where the Canadian Prime Minister I'm not happy with the Toronto Star, so I'm not sharing that article. Wow. Euronews is reporting trips are pretty much on hold. So the Iran war is going to devastate the economy in Iran to the tune of $40 billion, and it's Iranians going elsewhere, right? They're kind of stuck. God, can you imagine having money and not being able to get out? So I want to keep this in mind. Like I'm reading, but it looks an awful lot like Israel is conducting airstrikes and playing defense, and the U.S. is kind of there. And so Le Monde is reporting Trump and Venezuela's Rodriguez exchange praise amid an oil partnership. So yesterday he said he was going to sanction her, and then they talked. Hey, check this out. NATO denies firing a missile towards Turkey, but NATO shot down a missile fired towards Turkey. NATO's air defense. Carney tells the Australian Parliament allies must draw closer as global order is breaking down. What? CBC reporting. Grow a garden. Put up solar panels. Yeah, I've decided I want to do. I want to buy up a bunch of land and turn a whole bunch of that into like neighborhoods of tiny houses. And then I want to build a farm and just give the food away or run like a small co-op. And then I gotta figure there's gotta be something to do when you ain't trying to grow shit. So I thought about a good use for like farmland and shit and a bunch of tiny homes. And we could also just combine that with like solar and wind. And if it's a fully self-sufficient plot. The only thing you're missing is like commerce. Like how do you make money? And it's like, well, gardens generate produce, which generate jams and jellies and salsas and shit that you could just like jar and sell at like a little gift shop. And then anyway, I always wanted to own a coffee shop, like a sit down coffee shop. All wood floors, all wood tables, fire in the fireplace, smell good, you know, like some it's not necessarily potpourri, but you get what I'm saying, like some strong smell good. Helps you relax. And like I said, always secretly wanted to get into board game repair. So I'm an avid board gamer. If you've ever played board games longer, you played that game more than twice, you're missing a piece or it broke. And you could spend cents and replace the piece with a 3D printer versus just buying a new one. And I thought, what if you just like had other shit that they could spend money on too? And I play Magic, so it'd be like a heavily Magic influenced card shop / coffee shop with a little gift shop from the garden, from the farm, that has the solar panels and the... Anyway, pipe dream. Can you imagine? Like, you generate your own power. Hey, there's a place to stay. There's clearly shit to do. Oh, and Taylor would need something to do, so we thought about being like a dog rescue or an animal rescue. All on one plot. They said that's a commune. Because I think you legally have to sell stuff. Otherwise... So you just do the little farm to table shit. Try not to become a religious zealot. One of the things that we're never gonna talk about enough is the displacement of people as a result of this worldwide conflict. This conflict we did not vote for. That's the second reference to Slay the Spire in as many days. Oh, it is about that time. I'm so sorry. About halfway through the show, after we've sat here all prim and proper and talked about what's going on in the world, we're here to remind you that my continued existence, this show's persistence, spite. Spite. Hopefully you can hear it. FDT. Mm-hmm. We go fuck it up. All right. Yesterday, Tim Sheehy broke Brian McGinnis's hand as he showed up and said the American people did not vote for this. This is not what we want. Semper Fidelis. Sergeant Brian McInnes. No, not a sergeant. He's an officer. My bad, dog. I didn't see bars. Yeah. Soldiers don't wish to die for Israel. Oh, you know what's important about that? Brian McGinnis is a political candidate for office. It's important to point that out. A spokesperson said McGinnis and 3 Capitol Police officers sustained injuries. McGinnis is a Green Party candidate running for Senate in North Carolina. Is now facing 3 criminal counts for allegedly assaulting a police officer and 3 more for resisting arrest. Yesterday, Kristi Noem, at least I discovered Horseface Lady, Leatherface. God, what happened to her face? There's ladies in my audience. Will you click on this link and tell me what is going on with her fucking face? What is, like, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump has shingles, right? I think that's what we deduced. A doctor that works with elderly people with dementia says it's fucking shingles. But somebody click that. Look at that picture of Nancy Mace. What is wrong with her fucking face? Other than she deserves it. You know how it's like, maybe it's Maybelline. It's like, maybe she deserves it. But I want to point that out. New Republic reporting Cory Booker caught Kristi Noem lying under oath multiple times. And this must be her good side. God, she looks 20 years younger on this from her right side. Her face looks like it doesn't want to be on her body anymore from her left. Majority of U.S. Senate votes to block bid to rein in Trump's Iran war powers. Voting continues. Do what? A majority of the U.S. Senate on Wednesday backed President Donald Trump's military campaign against Iran, voting to block a bipartisan resolution aiming to stop the air war and require that any hostilities against Iran be authorized by Congress. As voting continued, the tally in the 100-member chamber was 52-47, not to advance the war powers resolution. Your elected officials voting for war. By the way, they primaried out a lot of the people. Could be skin cancer, could be a special cream. Oh. It just looks like her face is fallen off is all. And I was like, why? NBC News. The DOJ has quietly shelved the Biden auto pen investigation because there's not like a legal statute that says you can't fucking use an auto pen or that you could declare someone's. God, we're governed by idiots. And it's like everybody else is like, yeah. But yeah, there's like, I want you to protest and boycott and strike, but we live in the modern era. We live in the modern era. Brian McInnes showing up in dress blues as a political candidate. It's gross. I don't think he's on active duty anymore. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. Tony Gonzalez admits to an affair. Okay? So remember, he was denying this shit. Tony Gonzalez has admitted to an affair and called it a lapse in judgment. She fucking killed herself. She was married and a parent. This is what it takes. People have asked me, what does it take to be a Republican? You got to be willing to cheat on your spouse with someone who's also married. And then when they fucking kill themselves, rather than live with the anguish of fucking having cheated, you say, oh, it was a lapse in judgment. She was a lapse in judgment. It was a waste of time. It was a bad decision and investment of my time and energy. Tony Gonzalez, everybody. Common Dreams reporting, in refusing to impeach Donald Trump, Congress has failed the American people and the world. If you thought that a Republican president with a Republican Supreme Court and a Republican House and Senate was going to vote to punish itself, that's not going to happen. No one's going to save you. But shout out Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna, their billionaire tax. Everybody making under $150K a year gets a $3,000 check. Check this out. Truthout is reporting for the first time more Americans sympathize with Palestinians than Israelis. We figured out how to stop hating poor people. Major drinking problem, aka Pete Kegsbreath, criticizes the media for making U.S. deaths front page news. And I want them to. Every time someone needlessly dies in this fucking conflict, I want them to. Honestly, how many of them do you think actually hate him? Check this out. The Independent reporting, the DOJ has admitted that 47,635 Epstein files, all including Trump allegations, were removed. And remember, they've only shown like 2%. 2%. Remember, House Speaker Johnson says we're not at war. Oh, by the way, I saw this article, and I want to make sure we got to the loyal people that stick around for the show. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's unreasonable. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that a judge has ordered the government to begin refunding more than $130 billion in tariffs. So about that. So about that. CNBC is reporting the House committee has subpoenaed Pam Bondi. So, hey, look out. Donald Trump's got to do some crazy shit today. NBC News is reporting Kristi Noem is facing allegations of an affair. Well, she's totally been fucking Corey Lewandowski. What are we talking about? What? And yes, I saw him saying, by the way, God, Richard Blumenthal. You know who he looks like? There's this batshit politician, not politician, I'm pretty sure they're a preacher in Texas that speaks in tongues. What's that wild motherfucker's name that has a TV show? Okay, I'm gonna Google it. What is that crazy pastor in Texas that speaks in tongues and shit and has a TV show or like a telethon? What's that motherfucker's name? Kenneth Copeland. Yeah, what is it with like Kenneth Copeland looking motherfuckers, bro? Look at Richard Blumenthal and Kenneth Copeland. Can somebody tell me what's wrong? It's like they're wearing up another person's skin as their face. No? Okay. Just me? People.com is reporting Kristi Noem's a liar. She insisted that ICE is not creating a database of protesters. And then a congressman showed her a video of an ICE agent saying otherwise. Apparently he was keyed the fuck up. Somebody sent me a video, or no, I came across a video of her husband. He looks like he's drugged up. Like, he looked like he was on cocaine. The New Republic is reporting the White House had to bomb Iran because the president had a feeling. He had a feeling if he didn't, that too much of what he did is going to pop out. Yes, they look like they're wearing somebody's face. By the way, Texas Latinos turned out in massive numbers for Democrats. Hey, Slat. Appreciate you, buddy. Have a good day. They're all on drugs. I don't do drugs like I smoke weed, so I don't know what anything is. What kind of face is that? What drug face is that? Is that like ketamine? Is that what ketamine does to you? It like detaches your face from your skull, and it makes it look like you're wearing somebody's skin as a mask. I'm really sorry. There's like people that are like, Jared, gross. Like, my bad, dog. We're also on YouTube, and there's like a whole live audience over there. So if you see me talking to people and you're like, who the fuck is he talking to? There's like 24 people on a whole other site. So if you're watching on Twitch, right on, doggy. New Republic reporting the Trump team is scrambling over Rubio's admission about Israel and Iran. What? I'm gonna read we're all going to be dumber for having done so. You ready? It was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, they were going to respond against the U.S., Marco Rubio said. We knew there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that would precipitate an attack against American forces. I wonder the fuck why. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties. But that was apparently not the pitch that Trump approved. Responding to questions from reporters at the White House the following day, the president rejected any indication that Israel had pushed the White House to act. So make sure to cover for your homies. Oh, no. Israel didn't have anything to do with this. I had a feeling. Oh, what a feeling. We're all gonna die. Don't do drugs. It will turn you into a Republican. I think it has a lot to do with the lead in the water. If you listen to a lot of people, you're like, how long were you on a well? Long time. SILive.com reporting. Kegsbeth says, we're only reporting on American deaths because it makes Donald Trump look bad. He said it, I didn't say it. You're just doing this to make Donald Trump look bad. New Republic reporting, Caroline Levitt got real upset when they brought up the schoolgirls killed in Iran. Like, Caroline, you're a schoolgirl. These motherfuckers are gross. Can you imagine being anywhere near someone who is on a colostomy bag, has a catheter in, they're a drug addict with fucking dementia? Epstein had some terraglyphs moved for decor at the Zorro Ranch. Wonder what the fuck that means. Some terraglyphs has to be hundreds of years old. Yo, he was a dirtbag. That's what it is. The Santa Fe New Mexican reporting. And I hate you for it. We deserve better. The news should be free. I hate it. No talk of triggering NATO's Article 5 over Turkey missiles shoot down, Mark Rutte says. I don't like this guy. A drug drive STIs are both. Yeah, and they're drug addicts with. What is it? So, hold on. They were telling us that if you have dementia and you also have this STD, that it makes it worse. It's like, fuck. I'm not up on my STDs. No, because there's so few people. The Standard from the UK is reporting influencers in Dubai have been warned they face prison for posting material about the conflict with Iran. Syphilis. Thank you. Thanks, Haya. That was too funny. So, you know how everyone should download Claude because Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, says that it cannot control the Pentagon's use of AI. So the reason the Anthropic deal fell apart is because Anthropic refused to remove the guardrails that would allow for artificial intelligence. Sorry, I'm scratching my butt. Literal butt cheek itch. Life is like that. Not between the cheeks, just under the cheek. You know, it's okay. Life is like that. Anthropic refused to remove the guardrails that would allow the U.S. government to automate combat, to take the human being out of the pilot's seat, to take them out of the gunner's seat, to take them off of the battlefield. I've been saying it. We've all been training our entire life playing fucking Call of Duty in time for them to create a fucking AI-powered robot that you could just control from your house. If you really want to know how we all die, I think of it sort of like the Matrix, but not in the way that like everyone's asleep and they're being used for a battery or whatever. But more along the lines of like, obviously you're more powerful than you could have ever imagined, and the Gulf shipping crisis threatens a food price shock. I don't know why we're still talking about that, but Claude is from, yeah, it sounds like a trap. Yeah, I would never fucking do that in a mazillion years. Oh, it's because we're on the news. AP News reporting a judge rules companies are entitled to refunds. All importers of record. Oops. Oh. ICE has confirmed a measles outbreak in the nation's largest detention facility in Texas. And do you think they're going to get the proper treatment that they need? What do you think? A judge has ruled hundreds of immigrants are unlawfully detained at an ICE center in northern Michigan. Jonathan Gonzalez used Gemini and it told him to kill himself, so he did. This is the dumbest shit ever. Who fucking knew? A sprawling investigation finds decades of sexual abuse among Catholic priests in Rhode Island. 75 clergymen. AP News 1 hour ago. Kurdish dissident group says they are preparing to join the fight against Iran with U.S. support. So, what is the relationship like between the Kurds? AI is the fucking worst. What is the relationship like between the Kurds and Americans? we've been fucking them over and abandoning them forever. What's the Kurdish and Israel relationship like? Largely positive, informal, and strategic. Okay. I was just making sure that we didn't historically have like a shitty relationship with them or anything. Italy is going to send aid to the Gulf, Reuters is reporting, after that drone hit a fucking runway in Cyprus. Oh shit. A landslide has killed 200 people at a Congo's Rubaya mine. Now, I'm only laughing just the way the story is presented. The AP News with the headline, "What to Know About the Investigation of Catholic Priests in Rhode Island and Sexual Abuse Charges." I just... I don't understand. I want to understand. Alright, the Iran women's team declined to sing the national anthem. Are they gonna need a new song or some shit? Oh, I saw this shit. So you remember we were all sad because they were like, oh, they're gonna fucking drill in Alaska or whatever. Donald Trump's high-profile oil and gas lease sale in Alaska has no takers. Okay. So what would you say you did here, Don? Today's Thursday. I don't know why I keep saying Wednesday. I just realized that it's fucking Thursday. I said have a wonderful Wednesday. Nobody stopped me. Is that how it's gonna be, y'all? By the way, a court has upheld the order to liquidate the Unification Church in Japan. It's fucking Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday, kids. Whoa. AP News is reporting. Remember, what is that? Colin Gray? His dad gave him a gun. The father who gave gun to Georgia school shooting suspect for Christmas is guilty of second-degree murder. Parents, do not buy your children firearms. Article 1. A Georgia man gave his teenage son the gun he's accused of killing 2 students and 2 teachers at a high school is convicted Tuesday of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo. Considered of cruelty to children. Hey, here's an article about 3 people being arrested for spying for China. A reminder to you that no, the Navy's not there to escort oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. All it takes is one of them fucking tankers. Angie did say it. Jared, it's Thursday. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Damn, Ange. That's what I get for not listening. AP News is reporting Justin Timberlake has sued to block the release of a police video from his 2024 drunk driving arrest in New York. State Department urges U.S. citizens to leave more than a dozen Middle Eastern countries. So think about how Donald Trump's bad decisions, whether this ends up being a war or not. Right now, I want to make sure we're calling this an air war. I ain't never even fucking heard of that shit before. Okay? It's either war or it's not war. No such thing as a fucking air war. That's not like a thing. Remember that I told you. And it's like, center yourself on this. Anything that happens militarily up to war is only what is approved. And understand, it's okay to be on the side of, I don't want us to be doing that shit, like bombing Iran and fucking killing their leadership and then killing the next two people that were to succeed that person. You don't need to be allies with everybody. Iran's not our ally, Venezuela's not our ally, and still Donald Trump's fucking this all up. All of it. I think Maduro's gonna live and be a free man. Is that what is the right thing for a ruthless dictator? Probably not. I think Vladimir Putin dies. I think Bibi dies. I think Trump just dies. And not in violence. They just are old. And we're all stuck. Like, oh, what the fuck do we do now? War, I guess. Because that's all these countries are doing, is preparing for conflict. Reuters is reporting Paramount's credit ratings were downgraded by Fitch after the Warner Brothers deal. Material elevated leverage placed it on a watch for further downgrade. I think this is important. BBC reporting a fire has broken out at the U.S. consulate in Dubai. Reuters reporting a couple days ago, Russian flag sanctioned LNG tanker on fire in the Mediterranean. Hitting shit on the way down and out, right? Just making sure we try to hit as many stories as we can, right? Try to keep our head on square. So here's Reuters, March 2nd, for updated March 2nd. Here's a story. 6 service members killed. Looking for stories about a death toll. Yeah. They're burning my patience. Hiya. That's what they're burning. Reuters reporting Tesla touts California robotaxis but does nothing to get permits. Tesla is months away from launching a driverless robotaxi service in California. There's no way I would do this. No way. What if you've been critical of Elon Musk? Does your car crash and lock you in it and you die? Hell no. This is how it works. Don't stay out of fucking robotaxis, please. Blatant attempt to silence free speech in North Dakota. Remember, the First Amendment does not say you can protest as long as you don't disrupt commerce. That's not what the fuck it says. CTV News is also reporting the U.S. Appeals Court has denied Trump the ability to delay refunds. So here's the part where Donald Trump gives us money and tries to buy back, it's just like Donald Trump is just like every adult I know. If they're wrong, they'll never admit they're wrong, and instead what they'll do is they'll replace the accountability they could have taken with money and just be like, let me buy your affection. And you're like, but you can't buy my love. That's not how this works. You gotta be good to me. No. Yes. Like, it's like the powers that be haven't figured that out. This is the saddest shit ever. A Haitian man died in U.S. immigration custody with an undetected toothache. Keep your head on a swivel, no fucking surprises. It's about that time, right? Fuck Donald Trump. War. What is it good for? Also, we're not at war. You can't stand it. No way. You gotta learn how to relate. Get the right key, baby, but the wrong key. Oh, yo. Alright, let's check the weather. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here's your high impact multi-hazard day. Water rescues underway in Perry County, Missouri, as 5 inches of rain. Oh my God. Along the I-35 corridor. Iowa looks like they're going to get it too. But yeah, basically from West Texas to the East Coast. Make sure you keep your head on a swivel. No surprises, right? They say they're not adults. Yeah. You have a really deep crawl space. Look, I didn't water my house. Yeah. I've noticed that water gathers in my yard, but it runs away instead of towards my house, which is good because the house is built up. The property goes down and away from the house. So I haven't heard my sump pump run. But have a good day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.